Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan, we're going to be showing you how to install the Stealth Hitch hidden trailer hitch receiver. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is the right setup for you. So first and foremost, the main thing that's really going to separate this hitch from a lot of the others is the fact that you can remove the receiver tube opening whenever you're not using the hitch. And what that's going to allow to happen is, we're going to be able to maintain a 100% factory type appearance on the back of our Tiguan. You're not even going to be able to tell there's a hitch here at all unless you're literally on the ground looking up trying to find it, But other than that, you're never going to know it's there. With that said though too, you want something that's going to be easy to use whenever you are ready to use a hitch. That way it's not a big ordeal to try to get everything going just to use your accessory. And with this one, they really do make it easy. So essentially, all you're gonna have to do is take your receiver tube opening there, come here to your hitch, make sure that it's unlocked. So when it's unlocked, this piece here will kind of be sticking out. You'll just take this, pop it right into place. You'll hear it kind of click in. Then just simply push the lock down and you're ready to go. So whenever you do have the receiver tube opening connected to the hitch, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to come out pretty far past our bumper. And what that's going to allow us to do is pretty much use any type of folding accessory that we'd want. We're going to have more than enough clearance to, store everything in an upright position and not have to worry about it hitting the back of our Tiguan. I mean, with that said too, does it look the best, back here? It does come out far, but I mean, who cares? If you're gonna have it on here, you're gonna be using it and you're gonna have your accessory here. So not really a huge deal. If you're not using it, you're just gonna have to detach it and get rid of it. So I've actually kind of liked the fact that it comes out quite far. That's really gonna open up our opportunities as far as, this type of accessories that we can use. So I will say there is one downside to this, and I can't even really say it's a downside because it really just is going to depend on what you plan on doing with the hitch. But with this setup here, it's not recommended to tow a trailer with. All right, so this is just for those type of accessories. If you're looking to do some towing, not really a huge deal. There's a towing kit available that you can grab as well. And essentially it's just going to come with some other things that will allow you to do that. So if you're just worried about accessories, definitely the way to go. If you're looking to do both, some towing and use accessories, again, you'll just pick up that secondary kit. It'll allow you to kind of change a couple things here and be able to pull your trailer. So the receiver tube opening is going to be a 2" by 2". Super common size, a lot of different accessories will work with it. It's going to use that standard 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind with this setup, a pin and clip is not included. And as far as the weight capacities go, it's going to have a 350-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. And what that means is that tongue weight rating is going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. And that number is good for those 3 and 4 bike racks, just to give you an example. Now let's just go ahead, grab a couple of measurements. That way you can make sure any of the accessories you're trying to use will work out. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 16.5 inches. So even if your accessory has a straight shank, you'll still probably be in pretty good shape there. If you go from the edge of our bumper to the pinhole here, pinhole is actually going to come out past our bumper about 2.5 inches. And we kind of talked about this earlier, but that's going to help you figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in an upright position without hitting the back of your Volkswagen. So at the end of the day, a really good idea actually. These hitches are pretty cool. Like I said, pretty easy to use, and you're not even gonna know it's on the back of your Tiguan. But honestly, when it comes down to it, it's just really gonna depend on what you're looking for. If the appearance is #1 priority, absolutely, definitely the way to go. If you want the hitch to look good, but you're really not super concerned with it, there's a lot of other options out there. I like the etrailer.com one. I think it looks really good. And with those, the the hitch is always going to be there. You know, it's not going to have a detachable tube, so a little more convenient at times when you're ready to hook things up, and you know, those can pull a trailer and everything else. But like I said, it's really just going to depend on what you're looking to use a hitch for. But other than that, you know, as far as the installation goes, really not too bad. This is my first time doing a Stealth on the Tiguan. I've done them on other models like Audis and BMWs and such, but you know, to my surprise, this one really wasn't too bad. You know, everything was pretty easy to get to. You know, you didn't have to get your whole entire toolbox out to get this done. It's pretty straightforward. So as long as you take your time, really shouldn't give you too many issues. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our Tiguan, and we are going to need to remove our bumper cover. That way we can get the hitch in. And so first step is to open up our hatch. And we need to get access to some panels here, that way we can remove our taillights. So if we look at the corner here inside of our vehicle, we're going to have this vented little panel here, and if we remove that, that'll get access to our fasteners behind it. You just take a pick and kind of start to pry down on that cover. It'll pop off. With that out of the way, if you look up in there, there's going to be this white plastic fastener there. And what you can do is turn that, and it'll turn a couple times. You'll feel the taillight kind of release. And once we have it completely turned, we can come on the outside of our vehicle to get our taillight out. So just go ahead and pull our light out, then we'll disconnect it. There's a connector plug. It's a little tricky to see, but if you take that same pick, you can kind of pry back on that red connector there. And then if you push down the center of that connector, we can remove our tail light. So here's kind of a better look at it. That's the red piece that I popped up, and that's the center section that I pushed down with the pick to release it from the tail light. But we'll set our light off to the side and repeat the same process to get the other one removed. Now if you look on the back edge of our rear wheel well liners, we're going to have 3 fasteners. You need to pull those out. We'll do that using a T25 Torx bit. And I want to mention from this point on, anything we do to one side of our vehicle, we're also going to do to the other side, because it'll all be set up the same way. Now underneath the vehicle, just, you know, behind our rear tire, if you look up, there's going to be another T25 screw. We're going to pull that out as well. Now what we need to do is kind of peel back this wheel well trim that runs along through here. And so what I've done is just took some painter's tape and kind of ran it along through all of our seams here. That way we don't scratch anything up accidentally. But what I found, it's actually easier to come just inside of here to get that trim released. So if you look, there's going to be this type of fastener here, and that's actually holding the trim on. So if you squeeze those 2 ends together, you can start to pop it out. And so there should be about 1 more of those up a little bit higher, but just take your time at this and start to work everything out here. And just continue to kind of work that up. And we only need to take it up to about here. And what we're trying to accomplish, look there in the corner, we're going to have a fastener. Need to remove that. So I'll grab T25 and get that pulled out. Now underneath the vehicle, we're going to have 4 fasteners like this here. So 1 on each corner, and then we'll have 2 closer to the center. But you're going to take a T15 Torx bit and pull those out. So just kind of push down from the top there. Get that removed. The other one, going to be right there. So like I said, there will be 2 more just like this on the other side of our vehicle that you want to get out as well. Now with an extra set of hands, we can get our fascia removed. What you're going to want to do is start at the corner here, and this is going to be really tight. It's going to be a little tricky to see. We'll take a better look once we get it off a little bit, but right in this area there's going to be a clip, and you can use a plastic tool like this to kind of get in there, push down on it, and that way it'll release. Like I said, it's going to be really tight, so be patient here. You don't want to break anything. You're just going to kind of work your way down along the way here. Working that tool in as you go. To get those clips released. I like to get to about this point on each side, which I've already done on the other side. But we're just going to continue to move along here. So once everything is released here, you can pull our fascia off. We may or may not have some wiring attached. In this case, it looks like we do. Over here on the passenger side. So we'll want to be sure to disconnect those. Looks like if you push down on the center of that clip, you're able to pull everything apart. Then we can go ahead and set our bumper off to the side, somewhere out of the way. So now if we look underneath our vehicle, the chassis beam here on each side of it, every vehicle might be set up a little bit differently, you know, but if you have some bolts in this area here on your chassis beam, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure to get those removed. Your model may or may not be equipped with this here. That's bolted to your bumper beam. If it is, we need to remove it. So there's a nut you can take off. Let's grab a 10 millimeter. And just kind of get this out of the way. And carefully just kind of let it hang off to the side for now. Now we can actually get our bumper beam removed. And on each side you're going to have 4 13 millimeter head bolts, so 1 in each corner. So I already have the other side removed, and it looks like we should be able just to kind of lift up and remove our beam. Now what we can do is grab our hitch, and we're going to line this up with the back of our car here. And you're going to take a bolt and a flat washer and a split lock washer. And we want to get all of these started hand tight. So there's going to be 4 per each side of the hitch here. Once all of our hardware is in place and hand tight, then come back with a 13 millimeter socket and snug everything down. What I like to do is kind of make an X pattern, that way it kind of draws everything in nice and even. Now we need to make sure and come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all of the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can get one here at eTrailer, or a lot of times you go to your local auto parts stores and they'll have one there available to rent. For this deal here, there's a hole in the hitch, and I just took a nut and a bolt, some washers, put this through it, and I'm simply just going to tighten this up to re-secure it. Now we can grab this piece, and this is going to line up with the holes in the hitch. You want the handle mechanism to be facing towards the passenger side of the vehicle. You're just going to put that through, take these big bolts, Run both of them through. Then on the other side, these two nuts will just get started. So now we come back with a 15/16 size socket and wrench and tighten these bolts down. And just like the other hardware, don't forget to make sure that these nuts and bolts are torqued down as well. So from there, you're simply just going to reinstall the fascia the opposite way that you removed it. So this literally just popped back right on into position like it would from the factory. So once it's kind of clipped in, we'll come back, take all our fasteners that we removed earlier and get them back in place. And now with everything back together, if you don't plan on using the hitch, you can keep it hidden. If you're ready to, you can take your opening here and plug that in and use your favorite accessory. But with that said, that will finish up our look at and our installation of the Stealth Hitch here on our 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan.